Welcome to Showreel. I'm Mark Petsky.
And I'm Jacob Paint.
Later in the show, we'll have our week's entertainment news and review two new films, Mystery Road and R.I.P.D.
Today we're joined by actor Ray Sinclair. Welcome to the show, Ray.
Thanks, Mark. Jake, thanks for inviting me.
So Ray, how long have you been involved in acting?
I've been acting since 2000, so 13 years. So not that long for my age, but still quite a long time. Started in amateur theatre.
Amateur theatre, and why did you get into acting at that point?
That's an interesting question. I studied philosophy at a school here. It's called the Brisbane School of Philosophy. It's at Milton, and in it they basically get you to examine yourself. So you're always looking at your limitations. So one of my limitations was I'd put it as stage fright, or even being the centre of attention.
Yep.
So even to ask a question in a lecture or something would bring rise to fear. So the next thing was where the fear lies is where the work lies. So they put on Shakespeare plays, and I'd put my hand up for one. Got cast in the role of the clown, Costard, in Love's Labour's Lost. Spent the next 9 months, it was a very slow rehearsal period, spent the next 9 months kind of very nervous, very worried about the whole process. Didn't know if I could do it even when the final curtains went out and I walked on the stage. I was first on stage, the lines were there, bang, did it, loved it, and that was it. So broke the door of fear. So it wasn't a desire.
And how did you overcome that? How did you overcome that initial fear?
Meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get too philosophical with it, but basically when fear arises, if you can take the mind elsewhere from the fear, so by connecting with the senses, you can quell the fear, and then walk through the door and bango, that's it. I mean, Hugh Jackman, I'd never met him, but he goes to the same school. He went to the one in Perth, and he's still involved with the one in New York. He talks about it as well, same school.
Was that something you used in your life previous to doing this acting, or was that something you found through acting?
No, I'd used it prior to, and then found that, if you like, by stilling the mind through meditation, therefore you could then attempt things that you would normally not do. I mean, with any fears, fear of flying or fear of acting or fear of creativity.
And especially, I guess with a lot of those things, it's just a case of getting out there, and once you've done it, you realise there's not as much to be afraid of anyway.
Well, that's exactly right. The voice of fear, if you like, gets smaller and smaller till it can't be heard, and therefore you break the limitations that you put on yourself. And that's what philosophy is about. Well, the one I study anyway.
So you did that play, and then you finished that, and rave reviews, and the rest is history.
No, not really rave reviews. I mean, I remember the opening night on the Thursday, I felt quite despondent because it was a Thursday audience and they all had to get up for work, and I thought we deserved a greater round of applause, but didn't get it. And I was like, oh no, this is too much hard work, I think I'll give it away. I'll finish off the next few nights with it. But then the Friday night audience was different, the Saturday night audience was different again. And then it was rewarding and gratifying, and the ensemble, the whole ensemble of it putting together was just a joy in the end. And that's kind of how I got into it. So not through desire, but purely through a self-limitation that was recognised whilst meditating.
And how did you find the transition from doing stage acting into film?
Well, there was a lady in that first play that went on to QUT to do a degree in film and television and documentary making, and she wrote a film for QPix called Through Different Eyes. The creative team behind it was a company called A-Vision. They've now disbanded, but very talented lads. And she phoned me up one day and said, "Can you do this film for me?" And I said, "Well, I've never done any film work, And she said, please, Ray, I'd really like you to do it. I know you could do it. Can you read for the director who was stuck because the actor they'd cast had got a paid gig and took off, which is quite right as well, And so anyway, I went and read for the director and said, if you don't let me know by Friday, I'm doing something else the weekend. Well, he cast me, and then we went out to Calbar and filmed in this butcher thing. And lucky enough, the lead actress there was a lovely lady that's a local Brisbane lady, Jennifer Godwin. And I picked her up, and on the drive out, which was 100 kilometres, I kind of picked her brains as to what you need to do on set. And she was pretty shocked that I hadn't been on a film set. I was casting the lead in this Cupex film. And anyway, I just used the philosophy and the meditation. I just waited to be told what to do or what not to do, and then I just did my best, and the film turned out really good. Yeah. So it screened at the New York Independent Film Festival for Cupex, so it was quite a good film. So, and then from there, I loved that process of filmmaking when I saw it, and went on from there.
And was that when you sort of found your passion for it?
Yeah.
And so what are some things you're involved with at the moment, film-wise?
Well, I'm in the UK. I'm based in the UK at the moment and Australia. So I've flown back 2 weeks ago. A film we started filming literally 4 years ago called Rider Country, based up in the Sunshine Coast by a production team, what they call Myrtletown Productions. Now it stars some good Aussie names. It stars Conrad Colby, Rowena Wallace is in it, Lara Cox, Kim Jackson, Jeff Gannon, Greg Hatton, Luke Sumner and Peter Sumner. So people in the Aussie world will know some of that, and myself as well. So I came over to see the screening of that. It took 4 years to finish because after 2, the producers weren't happy with the results, so they re-scripted it and they made my character bigger in the film, and I played the contractor, the hitman. And I've seen the film, it's good quality. And,
was that a bit of an honour for you, for them to go, oh, this isn't good enough, we need more of Ray in the film? Was that kind of like a bit of a buzz for you? That
was.
Yeah.
Well, I only had one scene, and I was torturing, I won't give the film away, but I was basically torturing this young lady, and that was the only scene I was in.
And has that been a bit of a stereotype for you, to play the villain, the bad guy? Do you ever play the good guy in your film work? Never. Is there any good in Ray?
Oh, it's all good.
Do you think you could portray a non-villainous character?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, Ray's a good guy.
Yeah.
But it's really, with actors, you got to know your type early on.
Yeah.
There's no good pitching for roles like a Hugh Grant character.
Yeah.
When you really know it's not necessarily out of your depth, but you don't have the genetics, you don't have the voice, you're not the romantic lead, so you kind of know that you look, De Niro-esque, as it were. So you look at those roles. I mean, actors like that, great actors like that, he's never played out of type.
Yeah.
De Niro, he always plays De Niro. So I do the same thing, know my type.
Great. No worries. Well, we have to take a break now. But we'll be back soon with the latest movies and news. Don't go away.